You've been searching for a podcast that can motivate you, inspire you, and teach you about business and life all at the same time. Well, we've got you covered. This is Beyond the Blueprint with Matt. Whether you're seeking to unlock the secrets of real estate success or seeking guidance in the world of marketing and coaching, you're in the right place, helping to educate and motivate you through real-life experiences with work and life. We'll uncover stories like how a family's homeowning dream turned into their living truth, or how a struggling rookie transformed into a top realtor. You'll find there's always a way forward, pushing the boundaries of what's possible. This is Beyond the Blueprint with Matt. And now your host, Matt Sochi.
All right, welcome to Beyond the Blueprint. My name is Matt Sochi, and I'm your host today. And we are wrapping up a 4-part series that we went through. So just to recap, our first episode, we were talking about fear. Our second episode, we talked about resilience. Our third episode, we had our special guest, Tony Tizone. We talked about leadership and growing from the ground up. And today, we're going to wrap it all together and talk about how to maintain the success and growth. If you haven't yet, make sure that you like and subscribe. And if you have a friend out there that might learn something or get a golden nugget, or if you think this podcast is cool, or the video on YouTube, make sure you share it with others. That means a lot to me, and I'm looking to grow this channel. So I appreciate it, and welcome to Beyond the Blueprint. So as we wrap up our series here, so we talked about overcoming fear. So I want to just go through that one more time and just make sure that everyone understands. So as we talk about going through fear, and whether that is in our work life or our personal life, I wanted to just share with everybody that I have those fears too. And I think we all have fears in different ways. I have a fear of doing this. I'm staring at a camera and I have bright lights and I have a machine over here that I really don't know how to use. But I am learning how to do it, and I do it a little bit better, I think, every single time. And I want to reach out to somebody out there today that if you have thought about doing something and the signal of fear is blocking the receptors, I want you to take that next step. Take that next step and do not worry about the outcome. That is how you're going to build your foundation and continue to grow that foundation day after day. We also talked about resilience. Resilience is a very, very big part of everybody's life, and leaders, employees, families, people, animals, everybody has some step of resilience. So when we talk about resilience, it's really about being able to bounce back from something that has happened, okay? And we talked about this in the second episode, that with resilience, it could only make you stronger. So when we talk about the resilient factors, we got to make sure that we're taking that as a stepping stone into the right direction. And we're going back to our roots. And the only way to get out of that fallback is to be uncomfortable being uncomfortable. And we keep talking about that, being comfortable being uncomfortable. All right. So it's really, really important that if you have some kind of resilience or setback, take that as a stepping stone that you're going to be able to go into that next direction and do it better the second time, the third time, the fourth time, the 100th time that you did the first time. And we also talked about, different things such as like the Apple story with Steve Jobs and how, he had resilience and he had to come up with some new things, and look what happened. He took Apple to the next level. So it's very, very important. So if you missed that episode, make sure you go back to that one as well. The other part is growing from the ground up. So a lot of people out there that I've talked to do work for corporate America. I actually talked to a nice lady the other day, and we were just talking about how do you get to that next level. And one of the things that she shared with me is that she can't go to that next level because she has, restrictions with where she can move, and, the whole corporate America political BS out there. And I want to say out there that if you are in that spot and you've been with a company, let's just say for 5 years or more, and you're still doing the same thing, and there is opportunity for growth, you have to get your voice heard. Tony talked about that on our last episode, where when we did our interview, that he had to make a lot of different changes in his life, in his family's life, to get to where he is in upper leadership with a huge company. And that you had to move to basically Antarctica of the United States and do those things. And then you have to get your voice heard. And that means that you also got to be into we'll call it like a leadership circle, where you could have somebody mentor you and help develop you. And by doing those things, that exposes you to opportunities. So if you're sitting there and you're like, oh my God, I have to go to work. It's 9:02 and deal with the day and can't wait for the weekend because I don't have to work, then you have to change something, because I personally feel like you should never do something that you are not passionate about. And that includes work, no matter how much money is involved. I know people that are so happy. Let's take teachers, for example, right? Teachers, it's a job that, like, I can't do that. I don't really have the passion to teach kids and then have to, I guess not babysit them, but make sure they're not fighting, make sure they're not swearing, make sure they're doing the homework. But the teachers that are out there, that's their blood. That's what they want to do. That's what they love to do. And unfortunately, at least in Florida, they don't get paid. Very, very little, and it's crazy to me. But the ones that do it, that's their life. They love it. And I just want to give my hat off to all the teachers out there, because your job is extremely difficult, and you are developing the future of our kids, essentially. I know there's some things I'd personally add in high school, and maybe financial education and maybe homeowner education and stuff like that. But you got to be passionate about what you do. And I was that person, when I worked for corporate America, I was passionate. I was super pumped. I used to love my job. I had all my friends working there, and we had a great time. It was exciting to go to work. But then as time went on, it became a chore. And those are the things that you got to look at, that if it's a chore, which, at the end of the day, I guess a job, you have to do it. But if you're not happy doing it, there are opportunities out there. There are great employers out there that are looking for awesome people. They're looking for great people. And I promise you'll be treated right. So when we talk about growth, I want you to really just start thinking, like, if you're stuck in a place, how do you get out of that place? And it might take some step backs to do that. But also always be looking for opportunities. Always be looking for opportunities. The one that I'm doing now fell right on my lap by accident. There was no even thought of doing what I do as a mortgage loan originator and president of a company. I literally, like I said, I was refinancing my house. I went to the same bank and the same person I worked with. The rates sucked. So I talked to my wife, Melissa, and she was like, hey, talk to Glenn. I was like, who's Glenn? Oh, we went to high school together. We've known each other forever. And we started a conversation, and, I was like, that sounds like a lot of fun, And the money aspect is fantastic, obviously, but it's a lot of work, but it's something different, and I needed that. So by accident, sometimes things fall into place. But as we wrap it up, so when we want to talk about sustaining the next level in growth, I think there's some good things that we need to talk about, and I'm going to talk about a little bit about my routine. So we talked about this before, breathing. Breathing. So when I wake up in the morning, and I want you guys to just pause for a second and just think, what's your routine like? Do you pop out of bed, go make coffee, open up an energy drink, and then just start scrambling around everywhere? If that's you, you need to stop and listen to this right now, because this will change you. All right? So the first thing is, when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you should do is drink a glass of water. Drink a glass of water. I see this a lot. The water is going to replenish your body, right? And that's the first thing you should do before you get to coffee, because if you just start drinking energy drinks and caffeine, you're going to be wired and be scattered everywhere. And if you're like me, who is very, high energy, it's not a good combo. So after you drink a glass of water, you need to breathe. And you might be saying, Matt, I breathe all the time. Well, of course, otherwise you'd be dead. However, you need to practice breathing techniques, okay? I was watching a podcast the other day, and I was like, wow, I'm breathing wrong. I can't believe it. I thought I was breathing right. So I want you to practice this technique and just see how it does. If you're stressed out, this is going to be great, or if you have anxiety. So I want you to sit up, all right? And let's talk about this first. Most people breathe through their mouth, and that's absolutely wrong. Not only that, but I've seen pictures where it could actually deform your face. So if you're always breathing through your mouth, knock it off. But I want you to take this time, all right, the next 30 seconds to a minute, and I want you to sit straight up from your belly, from your navel, and take a huge deep breath through your nose, like this. And just hold it. Exhale slowly through your mouth and your nose. You should feel something right there. Even if it's a second of relaxation, you should feel something there. Now, the key here in a practice that I do is that you do this 2 to 3 times a minute, and do it for a couple minutes. Close your eyes, get grounded to the ground, go outside, go to your spot, okay? Just that feels good. That feels good. And practice this technique, I promise you, and do it throughout the day. So in the morning, I think it's really important, clears your mind, okay? Clears your mind. During the day, if something comes up, just breathe. And you know how they used to say, count to 10 backwards? Screw that. Try the breathing technique. You will feel the oxygen going through your body. It's pretty cool. And when I was watching that, I was like, wow, I can't believe that people aren't breathing right, including myself. So I started practicing this technique, and I think it's really cool. So if you're anxious and maybe you got a big presentation, or you're told that you need to make a video on TikTok or YouTube or Facebook, and you're kind of all over the place, just breathe. Do the breathing technique. If you're driving in a car, don't close your eyes, but just in through the nose, out through the nose and mouth. And that carbon dioxide that you're going to be creating is going to help you. All right, number 1. Number 2, time management. So if you're like me, I'm very hyper. I guess ADHD. I don't know. I'm all over the place. I could do one thing and do 3 other things at the same time, and somehow they all conclude together. But one thing that's really, really helped me out is you got to plan your day. So how many people out there are using their calendar? And I guarantee you there's a lot of people that are not. And I don't mean like your Outlook calendar because you have a meeting at 10 o'clock on a Zoom call. How many people out there use their calendar to organize their week? I know I do. All right. So I want to give you some tips here. So what I usually do at the end of the day, I plan the next day. And then at the beginning of the week, I plan the whole week. So for me, for example, I'll give you a good example. So from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., I don't look at emails. I don't do anything that has to do with new stuff. What I do is I go through my LOS system, which is pre-app, where I have all my pre-approvals and files that are in underwriting, approved, about to close, clear to close. And then I go through the pre-approvals. That's priority 1, okay? If you know anything about me and we've worked together on mortgages, when we get an application and we have the documents, our goal is to get you pre-approved within an hour or up to a day, depending on the situation, okay? So I set time aside. That's my time. No interruptions, no phone calls. I don't look at my text messages. That's my time. And then during the day, after that, I do my follow-up calls, and that means with clients, realtors, title companies, whoever it might be, past clients, etc. And then in the afternoon, I block off another hour. All right. If you don't block off or strategically place events within your calendar, what's going to happen is that you're going to go all over the place, because sometimes still fall off track to do that. So time management is a very big thing. And I've realized that with people that don't have time management, they will literally go from working on an email to their text message to a little walk while they're on the phone, get a snack, and then come back to their computer or wherever they're working, and they forgot what the heck they were doing. So I think it's really, really important that everybody has some kind of time management. And then you could also fit the exercises in there too, such as the breathing techniques and game planning for the next event or whatever it might be. But I want to challenge everybody out there to make sure that you are doing time management. It will make you more productive, and it will make sure that you get stuff done in an adequate amount of time that you do have. All right, so the last piece to sustain. I think the last piece to this, to wrap it all together, is you got to be able to embrace change. There's a lot of people out there that are stuck in their old ways. So that's the fixed mindset that we talk about, and not in the growth mindset. So I truly believe that you have to be able to adapt to change and adversity and be able to run with whatever's going, okay? And obviously tweak things as you go. So when we talk about that is, if technology is something that's always changing, which it is, you got to be able to embrace it, because by not embracing it, you are going to probably be left over here. And the people that embrace it are going to be over here, going in the right direction. So that's really, really important. And that also comes with, what we talked about before, resilience and other other things like that. So I think it's really, really important that you got to be able to embrace change, and you got to be adaptive. And how to be adaptive is you got to do self-development. That means reading, watching videos, learning, talking to others, mentorship. There's a lot of different things. Development, career development. There's a lot of different things out there that can help you with that. But if you're not doing self-development for yourself, and you're more focused on watching reels on Facebook or TikTok, or not picking up a book and reading it, you're not going to go anywhere. You have to take the time. This is like post-school career college, we'll call it, or life college. You have to keep developing yourself. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this series. I have some exciting things coming up. Probably won't be launched till the end of the month. But I just want to thank you so much. Thank you so much. This thing grew from nothing, and we're starting to get hits and some talk about this. So I'm really excited. I do want to have some guests on the show. So if you're out there and you're local, you could also call in. But if you're local, I'd love to have you on the show. I want to be able to hear your story, talk about different things and growth and thinking outside the blueprint, right? And to wrap it up is that if you are looking at the drawing and you're not thinking outside of that situation, I want you to understand you are missing out on a huge opportunity. Huge opportunity. Because I know I have. I've missed out on those opportunities. So when you start thinking or you start seeing people doing different things, talk about it. Talk about it. Share it. Talk about it. But you got to stop doing the same things and the things that are older that may not work. So if you can, make sure, share, like, subscribe, whatever you want to do. Shoot me a comment. I want some feedback. I want to hear maybe an idea or a topic that you want to hear. And I would be more than happy to talk about it, get on the phone with you, maybe insert some of the things that you want to talk about and share, and maybe some of your opinions with those. So thank you so much. I'm looking so forward to the next series. This is Beyond the Blueprint. I'll see you on the next show.
You've been listening to Beyond the Blueprint with Matt. Matt's passion is to talk about breaking the mold and exploring the uncharted territories of mortgages, real estate, faith, marketing, coaching, and so much more. Helping to show you there's always a way forward. Thanks so much for listening to the show. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, you can find us on YouTube and Facebook and on all the major podcast channels at Beyond the Blueprint. See you next time.